Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Workshops. In this tutorial, I'm going to be covering a really cool automated workflow that integrates beautifully with Trello. Now, don't worry if you haven't used Trello before, you can check it out in previous videos and articles that I've written. I'll post them somewhere on the screen here. In this workflow, it's going to be using an app called Butler. Now, Trello recently acquired the developers Butler, and it's now baked in and part of a core feature of Trello, so you no longer need an additional subscription. If you've been using Trello for any time period at all, you'll notice that there's various actions that you complete on a regular, consistent basis. Some of these will be very repetitive. With these workflows, we can make them much more efficient. So without further ado, let's dive into these workflows. Now, I have covered this board before in an earlier video if you want to see how it works and what my workflow is. This is very similar to real live boards that I use for myself and my clients. So I'll post a link down below to check that out. Now, in order to create any workflows, we need to add the Butler Powerup. You can do this simply clicking the Show menu and then adding a powerup from the Powerups menu by searching for Butler. Once you've added it, we'll need to make sure that we have our labels set up properly. Now, if you've used Trello in any capacity before, I'm sure you're using labels already. But if not, you can simply create a label by clicking in any card, and then on the right-hand side of that card, you'll have labels. Click that, and then create a label called completed or done or anything you like, and make sure it is a color that you'll recognize as completed or finished. I chose green for simplicity. So now we've done that, we can head into the Butler menu. You can access this by heading to the top of your Trello board and clicking the link that says Butler. Once we're inside Butler, we'll be able to create some card buttons. Now, again, for simplicity, I'm not going to cover all the other features that you can do in Butler. There are many features and some really complex automations that you can create. If we want to do those and people are interested enough, I will cover those in a later video. But for simplicity, I'm going to cover my two favorite buttons that I think are really efficient, really cool, and make life a lot easier. The first button I'm going to cover is the Done button. We can have a look at this by clicking the Edit button. Once we open this up, we can see there are a fair few actions associated with this button. I give it the flame emoji because it gives me that additional dopamine hit when I've completed a task, and it just feels really cool to know that all the admin is taken care of for you. So we just created the green completed label. So what this does is it adds that label to the card. It then marks the due date as complete. It moves the card to the bottom of the list done. It sets the progress to finished, and it creates a comment that says this project is now completed, and it sends it to everybody on the board. So everybody knows that project is done. Yay! Pat yourself on the back. That's really cool, and it saves yourself at least 4 or 5 clicks and a lot of stress and hassle. So that's one of my favorites. The other button that I'm going to show you is the Create a Project button. This again is one of my favorites. If we click the Edit button, we can have a look at how this works. First thing it does is any card you create that is going to be a project, it might have attachments and comments and you've been looking at for a little while and you're ready to start it as a proper project. What it'll do is it'll move it into your list called Next Week or your upcoming projects. It'll add a comment that says New Project Alert so everybody on the board sees it. It adds the blue label, which is a new label, so people know it's new and it's easy to spot on the top level view of your board. It then changes the progress to in progress, and for fun, it adds a rocket to the left of the card, as well as setting a due date for the following Monday. So let's take a look at these buttons in action and see how they work. The card I'm going to choose is this Published to Trello Part 2. So if we click this card and open it up, we can see it's got some comments attached to it. It's got some image, some details. We're done with it. It's been posted. We're happy. So we click this lovely Done button. Once we click that, it closes the card automatically, and we can see in the bottom of the screen, the action is running and now completed. So if we scroll over, we can see in our done list that that project is now at the bottom, marked as completed, progress is finished, and a lovely comment has been added. This project is now completed. So cool, so easy, and all it took was one click. Really fun, really efficient. Next, let's have a look at the projects. So I've got some unconfirmed projects here. Just for simplicity, I've called them very simple things. So project R, we're going to take a look at. And we can see if we click the Create Project button, it automatically goes through those actions that we earlier specified. So we can see at the bottom, running, create project. It's now completed. We hop on over to next week and we can see project R has been added with a comment and the progress has been changed to in progress. How easy and fun was that? So there are my two examples of some automations. Of course, there are literally hundreds of other automations that you can go through. If you've got any thoughts on that, if you'd like to know what else is possible, I'll happily show you how to do that. I'll just quickly cover some of the other simple automations that you can look at that are really effective and make life that much easier. If we hop into Butler, we can click on the calendar menu item, and we can see that we have an action so that every single Monday at 8:30 a.m., all the cards that have been marked with completed green label get archived, and all the cards in the next week get moved to the list of priorities this week, and they get sorted in order of due date, as well as any labels like red that are urgent to be looked at. So that's really efficient, and every single Monday you can rest assured that your lists will be organized and ready for you to take a look at and action. How cool is that? So they're my favorite features of Trello automation. Of course, there are many, many more. I'd love to know what you guys think. And of course, if you've got your own custom automations, please let me know what those are in the comments below. So that's it for my Trello automation workflow. Next week, I will be talking about Photoshop automated actions. I'll see you next week.